In this video, I'm going to show you how to increase your traffic in 2020 by creating a keyword action plan and identifying new keywords within your industry. I'll be focusing on boat hire today, but the strategy can be replicated in any industry. I'll be using paid tools for this sort of lesson. However, I'll show you free alternatives that will help you generate pretty much the same result in a different way. Once you have a keyword list, you can head over to Google Search Console video, which shows you exactly how to implement these keywords. I'll link the video in the description that we made prior to this. That'll come in handy creating an action plan around this keyword list. If you do like this video, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, leaving a comment. I'll be posting new strategy videos each and every week based on your feedback. So leaving comments based on what you enjoy and future video ideas can help us sort of plan ahead. I'll be diving more into depth in future videos with more advanced strategies that no other agency or strategist covers, that we have really strong, compelling data for. So make sure you like and subscribe. I'll kick this video off by starting a new spreadsheet in Google Sheets. It looks very similar to this. So the main here is competitor, the phrase or keyword, and the position that competitor ranks for that keyword. Now we're only going to grab the top competitor for that keyword, and then these are optional extras that we as an agency collect. You can see this is part of a much bigger sheet that we have on a per client basis, but the other sheet that we want to do for here is this synonym. So create that as well, but we'll cover that in a minute. So the tools that I'll use here is SEMrush, Ahrefs, Ubersuggest, Answers to the Public, Keyword Finder, and a synonym tool, Thesaurus. So I'm going to cover boat hire. To start things off, what you want to do is search for your primary keyword. So there are obviously a lot of phrase matches around this primary keyword, but kicking it off, you want to start with the lowest level. So boat doesn't apply and hire doesn't apply, but boat hire combined is the obvious answer here. So we want to start by using the correct database. I'm targeting Australia. If you're targeting the US, the UK, wherever else, make sure you select the right database. And that applies for all tools. Most tools will have this feature. If they don't, consider using a different tool. So by starting off, we're targeting the Sydney area. So we want to avoid keywords that identify locations such as Melbourne, Noosa, Gold Coast. Those don't relate to us, so we don't really want to target them. We want to look at the competition and who they are. We want to look at the related keywords and the phrase match keywords. So we'll start off with the phrase match. So you can do that by clicking on the phrase match when it comes up. And doing the same thing in Ahrefs, we'll do the same thing in Ubersuggest, and the same thing in Answers to the Public, and the same thing in Keyword Finder. So I also use a tool that pretty much simulates me being within that area. So I'm not in the Sydney area, so performing a Google search where I am will show a totally different result search. So boat hire where I am shows that I'm in Sippy Downs. It's obviously going to show very close related items to me. So all these are different than the results I'd want to rank for. So I'll simulate that using a tool. So I can identify that I want to be in Sydney. I want to use a current device, which is in this case a desktop, in the Australian region, and the word boat hire. So it'll show me results as if I was to be based in Sydney. So a great way to get keywords here as well is going to the bottom and going to the search related keywords. So these are people in Sydney and what they also search for within Sydney. So those also come very much in handy, and they'll be very similar to what we find within these tools. So when you're in here, you want to create a new list. I've already created this list, but the Magic Keyword tool will help you identify new keywords in different categories. If you don't, based on a keyword, it'll show you the phrases matched to those keywords. So things like cheap, Italy, we don't want. You can go through this list and hide the keywords based on compatibility with your primary keyword. Not so much the ones, but if they're Fiji, for example, if they've got more than one or two, then I'd suggest sort of hiding them. Otherwise, you can just filter through them in the main list. Pick the ones that apply to you and click Add to Keyword Analyzer. So this Keyword Analyzer will appear here. I've got 331 keywords that relate to the related terms that I'm looking for, and once you're there, you can click on the Go to Keyword Analyzer. So the keywords that you're really looking for are volume. So volume is really important. That's how many people search for that keyword in that particular month. The cost per click, in this case it's in USD. However, somewhere there is a feature to change that to AUD. However, that's fine. It high is high, low is low. It doesn't matter what currency it's in. The competition level, so that's how easy it is to rank for. The keyword difficulty, that also relates to the competition level. And the search features. So what type of search features? We're not going to worry about this too much for now because we're not covering the optimization for the keywords in this video. However, that still applies. And then when it was last updated, that won't apply. So you want to go down this list and you can do filters. So creating filters, volume, you don't want volume zeros. So if we have volume zeros in this list, so NAs, they are not all that important to us. So hire party isn't really of value to us because it has no search volume. There are a lot of keywords here that will have value, which is why they're here. So if you filter via this, we can volume 10 plus, and that'll show us more related keywords that are of value. So really, you want to target volume, but you want to target CPC as well. So if there's zero CPC, the likelihood of it being a great keyword that converts really well is very low. The reason for that is people aren't willing to bid for the keyword because it either converts poorly or it has no value, it's unrelated. So if you're not from that area and you don't know all the suburb names, you don't know the area, the market, then you're going to struggle to understand why people aren't wanting and willing to pay for it. This could be a lower demographical area. This could be too far out of Sydney. This could just be a odd place. It could mean a number of things. If you're doing this for your own business and you're in the area, you'd obviously have a better understanding of the type of keywords that you want to focus on. So these could be of value, they may not be. But ultimately what we're trying to do is create a list of keywords that have value to us. And then once you've got that, you want to do an export. So you want to export that to CSV, open that CSV, and copy the results into our list. So once we have that in our list, we can continue on to the next tool. So the next tool, we can go ahead and do very similar. So you want to view all keyword ideas. You can go phrase match, all keyword ideas, whatever really works. Once again, you really want to focus on the volume, We want more than 10 people a month searching for it. 3,000 keywords is obviously still too much, so we want to look at keywords that have cost per click of more than 0. Still, the list is too heavy, so we want to reduce that to something around 200 or 300 max. So I've already added some of these, but what we want to do is look at possibly lower volumed, why they're lower volume. So we don't want words like cheap. Okay, so cheap, Melbourne, Perth, Brisbane, Gold Coast, Noosa. I'm just typing in locations that I know are in Australia that have boat hire, and we'll exclude all those because we don't really want those to show. They're reduced 400 or 500. So now you can just search through and find more keywords that relate to or might not be related to your category. Things like Shannon River, like we're not interested in those. So what we could do is move this volume up to 50. Now the data and volume that one tool has may be completely different to another, which is why it's good to cross-reference them and understand that that is something that's different. Map and reviews we don't really want. Map, reviews. We don't want jet ski. 900. So we're going to reduce the word count. We're still trying to get this list down. We don't want keywords that are too long. We'd much rather target the lower keywords because they will also get those in there. So we don't want keyword difficulties over a certain amount. So over 50 and under 1. So we don't want 0 keyword difficulties. They're keywords that are most likely of no value once again. So if you go to lower keyword difficulties, you're more than likely looking at small areas or unrelated keywords, just a bit higher. That doesn't relate to boat hire all that much. Queensland obviously doesn't relate. That's a totally different state. So we can move that keyword difficulty up to, say, 5 until we're comfortable. So we've got our filters in place. We're happy with these filters. Now we're trying to get this keyword list down. And if the keyword difficulties are too easy, it's most likely, once again, something that no one's willing to target. So now we're down to a good sort of range that we can now go through and audit all these 300. So you would go through yacht charter. We're not after sales. We're after rentals, yacht rentals. We're not after UK stuff, England, motorboats. So you would go through the list and select the ones that apply. We could go through all of them on video, I won't. Then you would go add to, I think it was this list. And then once you've done that, you can go to the list and export it. So once again, export. Wrong format. Add it to our list. The same would go for Ubersuggest. You would go through the keyword ideas, identify great keyword ideas. You can also add them to the list in Ubersuggest. So you would come through boat hire Sydney, boat hire, boats to hire, boats for hire. Doesn't apply. You can obviously sign in and create more. But once you've done that, you want to add those to your list. So completely forgot how to do that. You may have to be signed in. I'm going to assume you have to be signed in to add those to your list. But you would add those to your list, you'd then export them. That's the suggestions. You could also go to related, questions, prepositions, and comparisons. So once you have your list there, export it once again, add that to your main list here. The same goes for all. I'm not even going to show that tool. So go through that. Once you've done that, Answer to the Public is a fantastic tool for identifying question-related keywords that are better rated for blogs opposed to pages. So you'd come through, pick out the ones that relate, so the prepositions, boat hire for party. This can help identify more keywords. So once you've identified those more keywords, you'd then pick out the best of those and identify new keywords around those. So there's a ton of keywords in here that, once again, you'd need to copy and paste those into your final list. Once you've done that, if your list isn't too large, you can order via A to Z and go through and one by one deduplicate it. So boat hire obviously is a duplication. You can go through and remove duplicates, and once reordered, those duplicates would be gone. Or you can use tools. There's a few tools that you can help identify duplicate keywords or duplicates in the row and remove those duplicates. So that's a fantastic tool. I believe I've used it, but there are free alternatives as well. And once deduplicated, you can then work out who the main competitor is by either doing a batch analysis in SEMrush or searching for them individually one by one. So what you would do then is anyboat.com.au, we know is someone that has it. You can drag them down, write the position, once you have all those done, feel free to add this data. You can do that within the keyword tools within so you can do an export from this tool. So export, and then the columns are pretty much self-aligned. So once you've done that, export it, copy and paste, just like you've done with the other spreadsheets, into these columns. I won't cover it in this video. That'll take me a very long time, and these typically do take a long time. So I won't cover that here. But what you want to do now is go through and identify break these into individual words. So we know that the word hire is a great keyword. So we want to copy that over here. The word boat. Cruises. Any word that appears in multiple of occasions. So birthday, we will want to rank for a lot of birthday terms. Near me. Affordable. So affordable aren't typically keywords that we'd want to focus on, but we'll put it in there just for the argument's sake of creating this video. Alright, so once we have those, what we could do now is come into a synonym tool and search for the word. So we want to find related keywords that effectively mean the same thing. So some of these won't apply in this instance. So obtain boat hire doesn't make sense. However, lease does. Copy that. Book does apply. Rent applies. So that's that. You would then get boat. There's none there that work, but that's fine. So we'll put that up there. Birthday. Birthday we know also works for, I mean, typically a yacht would apply here. Birthday is party. Affordable. You want to go through all your lists and work out all the keywords that relate to the keywords within. This really helps when creating the next step. So now that we have those, we can now go through and edit content within the video that will be linked in the description in Google Search Console and create variants of this. So every time the word hire appears on page, you can replace it with the word lease. So instead of having the word hire appear 50 times on a page, you could make it appear 30 times and the word lease, book, and rent appear the other 20. So although your main keyword is hire, you can also have these variants where Google know the relation between the two, but yet you're not keyword stuffing. So that's really important within the next stage. So make sure that you go ahead and do this for as many keywords as humanly possible. So I won't obviously do every keyword. I've done this very quickly just to show the process, but you would go through and make sure that you have as much data as humanly possible. It's really important for future steps and making sure that the report is all there and can be added to in the near future. So once you've done that, obviously you can go through and now check those off within Google. You could also run those Google searches and help identify new keywords within those and come up with this master list. It doesn't matter how long that list is. That list could be 1,000 keywords, it could be 2,000, it really depends on your industry. Now obviously if you have multiple keywords that you're going for, say yacht hire for example, opposed to just boat hire, you might want to go through and now do a keyword list for yacht hire. You now want to do every keyword that relates to your industry. So in this industry there is a couple. In other industries there may be a lot more. Say a plumber for example, you've got blocked drains, you've got leak detection, water jetting, you've got all these different types of jobs and categories that you would want to target keywords for. We're just going to cover this in this video though. Once you've done that, we can then go into the action plan and identifying what keywords are the most important by searching for volume, the cost per click, and sort of what keywords would relate most. And we cover that in that other video, so I won't go too far in depth there either. There are other tips with paid tools such as SEMrush with their tools. You could then go into websites and work out what keywords they're using within that page to rank for it. So tools like SEO Quake can help you identify the best keywords that they're using. So by looking at the keyword density, it will show me the keywords that they're using, how many times it repeats on that page, and what the density level is. So obviously 5% is way too much. I'd never target more than 1.5 to 2%. So these three keywords are well too saturated, and it may make sense on their page. It really depends. So it just looks nasty when you scroll through, but it does appear in many different contexts, such as buttons and yeah. See, it doesn't look nice. It doesn't read nice. It does look crowded, and when reading, it honestly doesn't feel very good. So you really want to go through here, work out what percentages they're using, and then compare it against your data. So if your data suggests that everyone, or their data suggests that everyone else is doing percentages for your primary keyword that is, you know, everyone's above 3% and you're at 0.5% and you're at the bottom of the page, obviously you can start to rank higher by increasing that density to more around what the average is. So you want to keep your data within their data and just obviously track what they're doing. So they've got a total keyword count of 4,213 unique words. So you want to make sure that your data is within the top 3 positions averages. And then obviously they're 2-word keywords, they're 3-word keywords, 4-word keywords. That's really important to start focusing on. Obviously, if they've got the same if your keyword is 2 words, you really want to work out what their densities are. That is ludicrous. Yeah. If it works, I mean, if it works, obviously run with that. So taking out these positions is really important as well. I don't unfortunately have a really great tool for extracting this data and comparing it against what your data is. It's something that we could definitely program. If it's what you're interested in, let me know in the comments. If it is something that the density comparison tool, what yours versus theirs is, Google's obviously an AI system, so it uses the means of averages to work out positions. So if everyone's average or mean is well above yours, then obviously you need to adjust your content to be what theirs is to increase your average position. So that's just one ranking factor, obviously, but content's obviously very important. So making sure that your averages are in place. They're more advanced tips. I won't go into those in this video. I'm pretty sure anyone sort of wanting to go into that advanced can follow us. We'll go into those in other videos, but I'll cut it here for this video. Thanks for watching. If you do have any sort of questions, let me know in the comments. Or like the video, it really helps Google sort of and YouTube understand the relevance of this video and what sort of category it's in and whether it should be pushed out to the masses or not. So that would help a lot. My name's Brody. I'm a digital marketing specialist at SiteCentre. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments. I'll single-handedly respond to each and every single question that we get. I'll leave you with one extra tip before signing off, and that is the keyword density on page is an important ranking factor. Just because the keyword specifies popularity, it doesn't mean you need to use it. So that being said, if you have a keyword search volume of 4,000 people a month, doesn't mean you need to use it just because it has high importance. If it doesn't have relevance to the page, or the cost per click isn't there, or it has the word cheap or affordable, and it isn't the demographic that you're targeting, that's really important. So I'll leave you with that. Thanks for watching.